Hello again, this is UML Operator. Hello and welcome back. This is part 2 of Implementation of Traceability. In this part, we're going to pick up where we left off in part 1. We will demonstrate finding connectivity using traceability for problem solving, collaboration, and advancing your delivery needs. We will show you how this approach can even lead to code analysis, and we will show you a tip or two using filtering as part of that analysis. So let's get started. So what have we gotten so far out of this simulation? We got from this particular control point A, right after we made a decision to back order. So it went from back order right to the customer and it ended. All right. Well, that's not what we want. We're trying to get to a close. So traceability is letting us know we're missing some things here, right? When I go here from a traceability perspective, I can see what customer as a participant owns, right? And I can see everything else that it's relevant to, but that's not helping us troubleshoot or understand the system that we're designing. So how do we rectify this problem through our analysis thus far? We could grab the customer pool and draw a message flow, but that's not going to do anything as far as a sequence flow or a simulation. We could grab this output point here to this input point here and draw a sequence flow. Let's go ahead and run the simulation again. This time, we're set to manual, whether you're doing it from here. We're not going to run interpreted. We do not have any executable code that's in there, so we're going to run manual. Let's just go ahead and run it again. So it's running through the steps, just as it should, and we're looking at it, and we're going to go back order again. It's going through here. Now this time it comes out of the output into the input, but it still just ends. I'm not getting any closure. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. In this particular case, it's back ordered, right? So why did the customer go through a payment? Do we require them to pay before we back order? All these questions can be answered through simulation. We can click on this one right here, go to traceability, owned by customer, transition from, all right, transition to this input right here, A. Well, how do I know it's that one? I can right click on this, find then all diagrams that were in the order process. Right here, the diagram order process. Let's hit open and we go right to it. So that's how I can quickly analyze my models, troubleshoot my models, my design, my architecture as I'm moving through modeling through traceability and through data relevance. So I'm not going to go through all of the analysis required here to troubleshoot the simulation, but traceability, let me clear this here. Traceability plays an important role. So we were having problems getting to close order. And if we have traceability on, we can trace that back. We set our breakpoints and find that there are sequence flows that are missing. It's naturally assumed that a message flow to a participant is going to continue to flow through. So we draw in relevance to decision points. Well, should we proceed? Here you can see that proceed or the decision to proceed is owned by the customer, and it is a transition from back order, this particular event. And it transitions to close order or a manual process called check, where until a service automation and API can be developed by the sales department or the IT department, this is going to be a manual process. It's just the customer letting the sales department know, I still want it, even though it's back ordered. So let's go ahead and run this simulation again. All right, again, manual, whether I do it from here or I do it from here. It's important that it's set here. You learned that in another video. And again, you've been provided the link to the simulation videos. Let's just go ahead and run it. We're going to start it here this time, and it's running through. So it's running through. We're going to go through the unhappy path of a back order. So we have a back order event, And this time we can see that back order event is going to lead to a decision gate for the participant customer. And if they decide to close the order, then the order is closed, shipping department closes the order, and now we properly ended. This is what we were looking for. If we run the simulation again, it'll clear the results for us. It's running through. This time we're going to run through a happy path, fulfillment, right? This time it's running through the various departments and their tasks. And again, we reached the very important close order event, and the departments completed their order processing, right? Product shipped, customers happy. Even if we do the back to the unhappy path for the back order, as it's coming through, we have all the traceability in place. We're going to back order, come up. The customer is going to, hey, do you want to proceed? I want to proceed. Yes. It goes through, manual check. Hey, is the order available? Yes. Run through, and the product is shipped. All right, we're back to our common layout. Let's bring properties to the right of the model like that. And let's pan and zoom and make it fit for now. And I've got some space down here. I can do things like notes. We're going to move notes down here to the bottom and make this a little smaller so we can take some notes as we're going through here. So when we're looking at items and we're looking at properties over on the right for this particular element, we have traceability. We can see who owns, transitions from and to, dependencies, and we can see tag value references right here. We can right click on this and find in diagrams. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. So it is in this diagram examples. That's the name of the diagram name. And here it is right here, order category. So we're very quickly able to see what any element is relevant to. In this particular case, this particular ordering category is relevant to these subjects, right? Back order, purchase order, and we can drill down and learn more. But you're able to, let me go back to order processing. You're able to look at particular elements and properties, base classes, see what this is relevant to. We can see that where it is in the namespaces, and we can quickly get to it. All right. So in this particular case, this one is relevant to other things that are part of the base class. If we look at a message event, same thing. We can go down here, nothing in class, project we don't care about, but we're able to see what it's relevant to, an order operation right here. And so what we can do is we can right click on this. We can find in all diagrams, right? Select related elements, all of this through traceability. So we'll find in diagrams, it's in two places. Again, we're going to go back to our types, select it, and here's the order operation. Select this, back over to traceability, called by the order repository. Well, what's that? Right click, find in all diagrams. And here it is right here, this class element. You know, we can drill down and look at code. We can see the API or interface that it's referencing and much more. And speaking about looking at drilling down to code, you can go to any element that holds code and you're able to look at the BPMN or the BPL code relevant to elements. So you can drill all the way down. This is the code for the entire process that we've been looking at right here, at least the BPMN code. You're able to drill down, parse the XML involved that's being passed to the BPL developers, and much more. All right, as we wrap up, it's very important that we reiterate collaboration, the ability to collaborate. So we're going to run a simulation right here, right? And it's going through. We have a breakpoint that we've turned on here at back order. So what we're going to do is we're going to step to back order. And then what you're going to see is it stop. And at this particular point, there's so much that you can do. You're able to step in, step over, just like in code development. So let's step in, goes right to the decision point. When we're looking at traceability, it's selected. We're able to see where it's coming from, where it's going to, and what it is relevant to. In your simulation, you can track where you are. In your call stack, you're able to track where you are. And you can do all sorts of things from this particular point. You can go to collaborate and you can start opening up a discussion that takes place. If you're on a SQL instance or a Cloud SQL instance with your team members, you've got timelines. You're able to look where you are at particular moments within the sessions that you're going through. And we could talk for hours. But what I wanted to do with, I'm going to go ahead and stop this right here. I wanted to make sure that we understood the type of analysis that we can do and in developing any of our architecture, whether you're using BPMN2 or whether you're using state machine diagrams, activity diagrams, and anything that supports a flow, right? We've been talking about filtering. You can turn on filtering and relationships. So as you select particular items, because we want it to gray out when it's on a particular item. Let's go back to our common layout out of our simulation workspace layout. And let's go ahead and zoom in. We're going to use pan and zoom, and we're going to make this model fit. So you can, if you're discussing something with other stakeholders, they're able to zero in on what you're talking about, where it's going and what's going on, and they can further the discussion and collaboration on your models. There's so much we can cover, but we're going to have to wrap up now. All right. So that was part 2 of this 2-part series on traceability and relevance. So I hope that when you're implementing your modeling, you understand what model approaches you should be adopting and why you're using the approaches that you're using. And with all the tooling that's available in Sparks Enterprise Architect, there's a plethora of things that you can do during project delivery. All right. So until that next episode, thanks again for watching. Please leave a like down below if this content works for you. Appreciate it. It helps us understand what to focus on. And until that next episode, happy modeling.